Oh no, you've just been ghosted again? You can't help but wonder, what was it that made her lose interest? When I first started talking to her, she seemed so into me, and then all of a sudden, she won't even reply to my messages? Where did I go wrong?
In this video, I'm going to reveal to you the 5 crucial mistakes that I made in my dating life and that you might be making too. My name is Frank. I help young men become their best selves through self-improvement. If that interests you, click the subscribe button. It's a win-win for both of us. My sophomore year of high school, there was this one girl I was absolutely obsessed with. And she was gorgeous. She was very good looking, but I would blow up her phone all day. I was completely obsessed with her, and I would literally go to sleep thinking about her, then wake up the next day and literally go to school thinking I'm so excited to see this girl. And guess what? I never asked her out. I was literally too much of a pussy to even ask her to hang out or ask her to go on a date. And then about 2 months later, guess what? She had a boyfriend. And this whole situation, this whole scenario made me realize that there were so many opportunities, there were so many things I could have done, and I actually think she had a level of interest in me, but because I never put myself out there, because I was doing all the wrong things, I was never able to ask her out and get her on a date. And sadly, I think there's a lot of guys who can relate to this. Mistake number 1, you are too obsessed with her. Look, I think it's absolutely okay to feel a strong level of attraction towards a girl, but when you're at this level where you're going to bed thinking about her, you're daydreaming about her throughout the day, and you're thinking of all the amazing things you're gonna do before you've even talked to her, that is toxic. Because you putting all these things in your head, thinking of all these things, is going to cause you to overthink and make you not actually take action and ask her out. Plus, when you are so obsessed with a girl that you're doing all these things like texting her all the time and constantly asking what she's doing and always thinking about her, it never gives her time to actually chase you. And this leads me into mistake number 2. You are too emotionally invested from the start. Now, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to have feelings for a girl, but you need to let relationships develop. And then when you're so emotionally invested early on that you're thinking about her all the time, and you're thinking about all the amazing things you're gonna do, it's gonna cause it to hurt even more if things don't work out. And then because you have this whole plan of all the amazing things you're gonna do and how amazing your relationship's gonna be, before you've even talked to her, it's gonna cause you to act out of a scarcity mindset. And a scarcity mindset is the most unattractive thing. You wanna always be coming from a place of abundance. And number 3 is you view her as better than you. The issue that I see so many guys make is they put women in dating up on such a high pedestal. But when you do this, when you view her as being this amazing princess that, oh, I have to cater to and I have to do so many things to impress, you're gonna act in a way that is needy and unattractive. But instead of always viewing her as the prize and think, what can I do to impress her? What can I do to get her to like me? You should also view yourself as a prize and think, what can she do to impress me? And mistake number 4, you don't make any advances. Do you really wanna be that guy who's just texting her all day and never actually making a move? Or do you want to be the guy that asks her on a date and that takes her on a date? Because when you're not trying to advance the relationship forward, when you're not trying to actually do anything, she's never going to see you as that guy who takes action, as that guy who's confident. She's going to see you as that weak guy who doesn't have confidence, who doesn't want to ask her out, and who's too needy. And I understand that fear of rejection is a major thing. So how I overcame the fear of rejection is you have to think that the fear of not even trying, the fear of not even going for the girl is always a lot worse than the fear of rejection. Because if you get rejected, guess what? You're back exactly where you were in the first place. But what if you go and talk to her and she actually likes you and she wants to get to know you? Then that's a win-win. And also, don't view rejection as this bad thing, because with each rejection, with each time that you're not successful or each time it doesn't go well, you're going to improve your skills and you're going to be one step closer to finding that girl who's actually into you. So be that guy who goes after the girl, who goes after what he wants and asks her out. And number 5, and probably the most important, is you kill all of the mystery. Look, you don't want to be manipulative about this. You don't want to purposely ignore her messages or purposely lie to her. That's manipulative and that's terrible. But you also want to have this sense of mystery. So how do you do this? Well, don't be texting her all day. Don't be constantly blowing up her phone, and don't be always telling her everything about your life. Let her slowly pick these things out over time, and let her also reach out to you first. Let her also ask you questions. Don't always just be talking so much about yourself. And when you go out on dates, focus more on asking her questions. Focus more on letting her talk than just blabbing the whole time and telling her your whole life story. Because girls, they don't want to hear everything you have to say. They don't want to hear your whole life story. Girls care about how you make them feel. That's the only thing that matters. And they care about being heard and understood. So if you want to be the guy that's successful, focus more on asking her questions. Focus more on making her feel heard and understood. And focus on getting her to talk about herself too. Don't be the guy who just talks all the time and just doesn't shut up. That is super unattractive. And 2 people that I think are great examples are James Bond and Tommy Shelby. 2 guys that girls are absolutely obsessed with. And why is that? It's because they have that aura of mystery. they can never really figure them out. And I'm not saying to be like fucking Tommy Shelby or James Bond, right? There's a lot of things about those guys that obviously like no one else can replicate, but it's good to take some traits from their personalities and apply that to yourself. What I will say is that while you may have behaved this way in the past, it's not all your fault. A lot of it is because of all the conditioning you've received from watching Hollywood movies and Disney movies that show the nerdy guy who's obsessed with the girl and then eventually gets her. And that's just not true. That's not how it works out in the real world. Now, don't get me wrong, you want to show her that you care and you want to be a gentleman, but this obsessive personality that they display in all the movies, that does not work in real life. It does not work that way. So be a gentleman and care for her, but also be strong and masculine. Be more focused on your own purpose and your work and developing yourself than just chasing women all the time. Be sure to leave a like so more young men who need to see this video can see it. And subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next upload. Love you, bro.